hoping it hits you in the head.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This scene of ours. Thank you very much for joining us once again. I'm here with my brother Jeffrey Tavares. Jeff, how are you?
Good. Don't call me Jeffrey. Jeff.
Jeffrey. All right.
Jeff.
Jeffers Tavares. That's what he likes to be called.
Jeff.
All right. Welcome back, Jeff.
Thank you.
We also have my man Edwin Tolentino. Edwin,
What
what's
up?
going on?
Mashingo.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's Friday. I feel blessed. That's what the people say. I'm blessed.
Blessings on blessings on blessings. I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
I know. Just kidding.
That's just like a thing people say. You probably
That's
read
what
that
I'm
on.
saying. That's what I'm trying. I'm saying.
You
know,
read that
it's a
on
thing.
like the internet kind of
So-
thing.
I don't know. I just saw it.
It's
on
probably like one of
those
those
YouTube
like,
shorts.
Okay.
You know.
Guys, we hope you're blessed as well.
Yeah.
Welcome back to this scene of ours. Again, make sure you follow us on our social medias. Tri-State Dance Fest, New York Salsa Congress, Huracan Dance. Follow Jeff. What's your Instagram? Jeff _.
Huracan.
Huracan.
Jeff Huracan.
Edwin is
Edwin __
double underscore. ladies and gentlemen.
Tolentino. So,
Tolentino. And I'm, of course, DJ Abo NYC. Thank you very much for being with us. Again, we've released our concert series for the New York Congress this year. We're very, very excited about it. We're going to be introducing our first bachata act at the first bachata singer concert at the Congress. We're going to be having Danny J all the way from España. All right. Shout out to Danny J.
Mhm.
Jeff, why are you laughing?
No reason.
Edwin, do you like Danny J?
so I have to be honest. I mean, I don't know much about sensual bachata. So
All right. Well, you're going to learn that weekend.
I'll learn that weekend.
We have a routine. We actually performed a routine to Danny J's music.
Who's we?
Huracan Dance Company.
Which song?
Me derrumbo. That one.
I don't know which one that is, Jeffrey.
Yeah, that's
It's a
It's a
song.
popular one.
Wait.
the
You're
way you're
talking
making
about a
it
salsa
sound.
routine?
The way you're making.
Bachata.
Oh, okay.
Ya es tarde.
Oh.
And Julie and Luis did their solo.
Yes.
So
That song we did.
Oh,
That
okay.
routine.
All right.
okay, well, we're gonna have Danny J. We're very excited about it for the central. Ooh, bachata. For you people, all right, we're gonna make sure we get you some Danny J on. We're also gonna have our classic bachata as well in the New York Congress this year with our DJs. But again, we're gonna be introducing Danny J for the first time in our Congress. On the salsa side, we're gonna have Grupo Candela all the way from New Jersey, right? Eric Cabanilla, shout out to him. We're gonna have Tito Rodriguez Jr., all right, legend, of course. And on Sunday, we're gonna bring it all together with the man, the myth, the legend, Jose Alberto El Canario. All right,
Nice.
which we love. I love Canario. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Like
knows-
when he plays when he does the flute. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
without the flute.
I would try to mimic that, but I don't know how to do it.
yeah. He's really good. All right,
So,
so
a little toast.
little toast. We're drinking. What are we drinking today, Jeff?
Imperial Pumpkin Stout.
Pumpkin.
Yeah, we were looking.
8.6%.
Yeah. Well, we wanted a stout, but we couldn't find one.
So you guys got
This was the only thing closest. I mean, it's a stout. It's just pumpkin. It's a pumpkin stout.
yeah. This
Pumpkin's
is like
not in season, but
this is left over from October.
I guess yes. But
All
it's you know
You've ever had
That's-
this before, Edwin?
I have.
Is
It's
it
pretty
good?
good. It's good.
Jeff, have you had this?
No.
All right, this is our first time. So here we go. Cheers, gentlemen. May all your pains be champagne.
I don't drink no champagne.
So, we're having some good conversation earlier about teaching, right? And I figured we'd talk about a new tip, right? One thing that we were touching on was musicality, timing, etc. So, I guess the question to the both of you, okay? What do you? Let's start like for the beginners, right? Introduction onto first time taking classes. What do you think the most important things to focus on are, and how do we get our message across as easily as possible? Take your time, guys. Don't rush.
Go ahead.
Me first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the most important thing is just to get your students to a level of you gotta gain their trust and their comfort first. You gotta get them to a level of comfort where they're going to start kind of letting go and embracing the moment, and you have to gain their trust. Most students are very apprehensive when they start. So
Okay.
we got to get to a point where they're trusting us. And I think that when that happens, everything else falls into play. Like, for me personally, I think, I hear a lot of the conversations about, things that other instructors say and that they complain about. But I think one of the things we don't pay enough attention to is the art of teaching, which I think.
What do you mean the art of teaching? What does that mean?
So, for example, like when you teach a class,
Okay.
who's your target? Like, what level? Like, if you have a class of 20 students, who are you targeting? Like, what level within the class?
I mean, depends on.
You have 20 students in a class, right? You have one student that is
But
going to have.
is the level advertised? Or what is it? It's just
What I
20
mean, let me rephrase my question. If you have 20 people in your class and you have one student that is just absolutely fantastic, and then you have one student that's absolutely is just challenged, needs a lot of help, and then you have a bunch of students kind of in the middle. So what's your target? Where are you teaching?
I actually went through that not too long ago.
Where do you teach? What's your
What's the focus?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a situation where I had to teach alone, and I had 2 different levels going on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to explain the situation yet, but that was just what it
Mhm.
was. And I catered more towards the beginners
Mm-hmm.
because they're the ones that were actually trying to pick up a basic, trying to learn. The other students were a little bit more advanced beginner.
Mm-hmm.
They knew a little bit more. So what I did was I started basic, and then once I felt that the beginners were kind of feeling more confident, then I added stuff, and everything kind of came together, catered more to the advanced beginner students.
What about you?
I think I would say kind of what I think Edwin's approach, kind of, because I think that what he's going is like the edges, right? He's going to this end of the spectrum to that end of the spectrum, because I figure like the people in the middle are gonna kind of get it.
Right.
So I would try to focus on the ends and then kind of hone it on all the way in somewhere in the middle.
Right. So that's basically what I'm talking about, right? Like, education will tell you don't teach towards the middle, don't teach towards the beginners. You got to teach towards your strongest and your weakest. You have to target those 2. Everything else will get covered. And I think when you do that, what ends up happening is you can get a lot more done. People are going to get a lot more out of it. I think that a lot of times we focus on what the sign says outside when we teach, especially like at congresses. Like, oh, it's an advanced class, so we need to teach advanced. And I think that there's a way to cover everybody that's in the room with something.
I agree.
So, I think that that's more of a teaching philosophy than a salsa teaching philosophy. And I think that a lot of times, like, we kind of, we're so focused on, what our classes should be versus responding to what's in front of us. And I think that that's a big mistake. And I hear the complaints all the time. And I even know some instructors that will go in and say, well, look, it says advance out the door, and if you can't handle it, you shouldn't be here.
But
And
then
I
that's
just
the
don't agree
ego,
with
right? That's like that's a you problem, not necessarily what's in front of you problem.
I don't know if that's an ego problem. I think that it's not adjusting to where we are.
No, of course, but
That's what I think. I think that, when we started, it was kind of like that.
well, I think if you lecture a group of people and say, "Hey, this is what this class is," and if you can't keep up, then whatever. I think that's an ego thing. That's a problem.
All right.
I don't.
I don't give a fuck. I'll say it. If you are walking into a group of people who have probably looked forward all day to taking your class, and the first thing that you do as a response to make yourself more comfortable is, well, this is what it is, and you're gonna have to figure it the fuck out. How good of an instructor are you actually?
But you're setting the tone. It's a horrible tone.
It's a horrible tone. Yeah, absolutely.
Now you're just gonna teach whatever you want, and then not care if.
And what kind of experience is that, right? Because this is all about experiences. These things for most people don't last very long. So you go
Well,
to
I think that's the issue. I think, I hear a lot about talking about the art and the culture and how things are watered down. But listen, most of the people that do this are not going to become professional.
they're temporary, yeah, 100%.
Because the reality is that being a professional in this field, it kind of sucks. So most people are not going to leave their jobs to become professional dancers. One. Number two, this is more about a social component than anything else. And
It's an experience. It's an experience.
It's an experience.
it's an experience. And what happens is the faster people can learn that, the more successful they're going to be, because you should be able to provide someone with this should be somebody's pastime where they just want to come and take classes and hang out and talk about their problems, but you should also be able to give somebody a professional experience or a competitive experience. I don't think this is one size fits all.
No,
So I think it's more about focusing on that than just salsa, just culture, or anything like that. But that's just my opinion. What do I know?
Yeah, also.
Wait, you're right. What the fuck do you know? Anyways, please, I digress.
No, I think even like when I've gone through phases where before, I think when I'm about to teach a class, I sometimes I do too much, but I do that on purpose. Meaning I'm just gonna throw a number, 12 bars of partner work.
You go is cut it down.
Not even cut it down. I know I might not get through it all, but I'll have options. I'll get in there. I'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna get up to here today. So I'll get up to here. I can mix and match. But nowadays, it's like I'll show up and I have more of an idea, and I don't want to say I wing it, but I'll just come up with 2 or 3 ideas or concepts that I would like to do. And then I just go in there and kind of read the room, and then I'll just.
Right.
So but that's an important point. Wait. What did you just say? I go in there, I read the room.
Right. You read the room.
And then you teach dependent on what's placed in front of you.
Because you really don't know. Now it's like it's like what we were touching on before. It says advanced. It says all these levels, the color, all the different types of levels. So you go in there and nobody cares. Nobody's saying, you could be.
People want to take a class with you. They're gonna take a class with you.
Yeah.
So it's like you could be an advanced beginner and it's an advanced class, but in your head you're like, I'm advanced today, so I'm going in here and taking this class.
It's crazy.
That's how it works.
It's crazy because I always like to compare what we do to other things. Like I told Edwin today, like I get inspired by wrestling a lot, but we won't talk about that today. But I always, the same thing with like hip hop, right? So I always found it interesting. I always felt that Edwin was more of a writer and I was more of a freestyle artist. Meaning when I choreograph, it's literally freestyle. I don't really like take time to map out. Like Billy used to tell me that, like, yo, I map out my whole routine. I'm like, nah, I don't do that. I just kind of hear the song and go and then adjust from there.
Yeah.
And I feel like you prepare way better than I do. And I feel that whenever I prepare, my shit sucks. Whether it's a routine, whether it's a workshop, whenever I over-prepare, it doesn't work. I literally need to go in there and feel out the room and adjust. Or if I'm doing choreography, I need to get in the workshop, put the song on.
You need the spontaneity.
I need it. I'm just no good. Whenever I write it, just...
When you choreograph, do you like go in with like a set idea, or are you building as you're in the room?
For choreography?
Yeah.
That's different. Choreography, I have to hear the song and get ideas.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I was doing something like that yesterday with one of my students choreographing. I had nothing. But the moment I put the music, I put stuff in. And then
do you put fillers in and then go back and like?
Yes.
Because Jeff does that.
Yeah.
Especially like with my pro-am.
I feel a whole routine.
With my pro-ams, I know I gotta get I gotta build the routine. But since we start early in the year, we go through the year, I'll just put a skeleton on it. Then once it's done, I'll get a feeling from when we do it from top to bottom. Once it's done from top to bottom, I'm like, I definitely don't like this. I don't like that. We got to change this.
Well, you
I
can't.
like this.
Because
You can't do it in parts. You can't like know how it's gonna be.
you got to put it out there. That's why, like, I do soft debuts because it's like you could work forever on a part of a routine, and it could just be absolute trash.
Yeah.
So you just got to put it out.
You know
there.
that.
And once you put it out there, you see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know what you mean in terms of entertainment. But if it's like a student I'm competing with, I know I'm like this is not gonna work. I gotta change this part because I gotta worry about timing. I gotta worry about certain factors. Whereas I get from an entertainment factor, I get that. All right, put it out there. See.
No, but even competition wise, because like when we competed, when we did Mambo the first year, we did 2 runs and then did it at Summit. But when we did Sin Timbal, I think we had like 20 or 25 runs.
Was it that many?
Yeah. Because we were just running it, and it was just like we were adjusting.
I do remember, especially like towards the end, even getting an
And then when we did it at Marcus's event, that's when I was like, okay,
we got something.
But I never allowed us to do it in costume either.
Yeah.
Because I wanted Summit to feel like
the first time.
Right. But we did that shit in a club one day. And we were dancing and someone is like passing around bottles.
Oh shit, yeah, I remember.
We did the trick and it almost kicked.
That happened in Jersey. When we did it in Jersey, somebody was just walking.
Oh, in Jersey too.
He just walked in the middle of the number.
We did one in that place in Astoria.
Yeah.
I got the name of it. The adolescente was performing that night.
Yeah.
There was just like tables everywhere. Yeah. But you gotta do it. You gotta.
You know one thing that I will say about both of you, that I think like your mindset about being able to kind of work with what you have, is because you guys are constantly doing new things. You've been a beginner more than once, not just in salsa. So whether it's Afro or doing tricks or doing an event, I think that humility kind of transfers over because the fact that you can remind yourself like, shit, I don't know what I'm doing. I got to start from scratch. Yeah. You got to be the new person. You got to go back to sucking at something because it's easy to forget in the beginnings. It goes by quick, especially when you're doing it. I think especially for, like, if you're in a room and you're starting to tell people, yo, this is what this is, you've clearly forgotten what it was like to be new and excited and to see someone that you've never seen before or even now see them on YouTube and want to go and experience it. And I can just imagine how disappointing that reaction would be. Like how, like it would almost be kind of like polarizing. Like, ugh, I don't really want to.
I think one of the best compliments I ever got was from Yuli Terrero. Shout out to Yuli. Cinema Giants. He has an acting rehab class, and I took the class with him. Yo, and I was pretty bad. I was pretty terrible. But he mentioned that. He was like, yo, by the way, this guy has his own school. He's a dancer. Like, yo, for him to come over here in a room full of actors that are working, and for him to come in here and give the effort that he gives, you know, and I don't know why I took the class, but it's true what you said. Like, once I was there and I was completely stripped of the power and all that, and I just had to sit back and just get my ass kicked by, you know, some people that had done it already, like, it was a great feeling. Yeah. You know, I wish this.
It brings you back.
I wish that I could do more.
The other day I'm on Instagram and I see Edwin playing a drum. They're promoting a class. He's sitting there playing a drum. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? Also, we're at Summit and he's listening to music. The same music over and over again. So that kind of being a beginner, that constant learning something new or trying something new or trying something hard or getting out of your comfort zone. Like, yo, when I go to jiu-jitsu and I'm getting my ass kicked, it's like, man, this is really debilitating. But, yo, there's something about it that you want to keep coming back because of that fact that, like, yo, you're new at something. And there's an excitement whenever you do something new. It's kind of like, man, I want to do it. I want to go. You think about it. You're researching it. Remember when we started dancing? We were, like, researching this and watching the videos.
It also comes full circle, too.
It does come full circle.
Because it helps you with everything. I mean, for example, I remember when I started with Atoy, and Billy was kind of, I was under Billy's mentorship and Atoy's too. I mean, I couldn't start without him saying, he was like, I can't work with you unless you take ballet. So I had to take ballet for like almost a year. He's like, just take beginner ballet. So I had to take ballet from like beginner. And
You didn't tell him you took a class in DC with Jeff? Did you guys?
I wanted to bring that up. The modern. I actually told that story the other day. It always and people love it. They love that story.
Yo, my baseball coach came to the final.
No, you gotta say yes. I did say he came to the recital. It was a recital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you guys dance?
Well,
It was modern dance.
So the story. All right. So we had in college. We were college baseball players.
We were pretty much done, and
So
we
we
needed
were-
to take.
We
the
needed,
truth is, we wanted to get out of study hall.
Study hall. It was
We didn't wanna go to
Wednesdays. Wednesdays at 7:00.
We didn't wanna
It
go
was
to
the worst. Wednesdays.
Study hall was the worst.
The only
Let me
way you
just-
can
hold
wait,
on. Let me just
okay,
give
go
it
ahead.
some context. So study hall. So every every athletic team, you have to spend 2 hours in a room
a week.
just studying, right? But I mean, you're putting a bunch of baseball players. We'd be in the gym in a room, like sitting down, and we're supposed to be studying. And our coach's office was like right there. So like every time he came out, I was like, Skip. So we would get quiet. And then he would see us talking and come in and yell at us. We'd be throwing papers at each other.
He wouldn't even yell. He'd just come in and do like one of these. Scan the room.
So we hated study hall. It was just 2 hours of just sitting there. You couldn't get anything done. So we were like, yo, let's get out of study hall. And
The only way to get out of study hall was
if you had a class.
If you had a class. So we needed an elective, right? We needed
needed
an
electives,
elective.
so we
And
took
now you
modern
were
dance.
like, you were like, yo, man, we could take this modern dance class. And I was like, really modern dance? Like, yeah, man. I mean, and I looked at Jeff. I was like, you think? He goes,
she said you had to wear tights.
It's at 7:00.
Yeah.
And I went, let's do it. And we went. We signed up. And
We would get out at 8:30.
Yeah, we would get out at 8:30. So we got out of it. So I remember we went to the class. And she said, we had to do a paper on modern dance. We had to pick a modern dance,
Yeah, we had to.
a modern dance dancer, and do a paper on it. And then she's like, and let me tell you the requirements.
You gotta wear tights.
Yeah, you gotta. You have to be barefoot, and you have to wear tights, and you have to wear. I think we had to wear a tank top or whatever. And I just went like this to Jeff. I went like.
Yeah. I had to borrow tights from like.
I borrowed tights from I think Viviana.
Yeah. Yo, and me Francis, I was like, yo, can I borrow some tights? So I used to, she gave me a pair of tights, and I used to wear it and go to class.
Yeah.
And you guys had a recital.
So Skip used to go,
Oh. Yeah.
modern dance, huh?
Oh.
And we're like, yeah. Like,
And I remember he was like, oh no, he was very convenient.
very convenient.
Wednesday, 7:00. Very convenient. It's like,
So they're like, oh, we're going to have a recital. And then Miss D, well, she's Dr. D now. Dr. D. Sienna.
Okay.
She was cool with Skip, so she told them. So the day of our recital.
no, and then the teacher goes, all right, guys, we're going to start with the recital. And we have some special guests today. Because me and Jeff were like, we thought we were going to kill it. No? We thought. Because we practiced. We practiced.
You guys practiced?
We would practice. We had releve,
Yeah.
and we were doing all this. We learned plie. Yeah, we were doing all this, like, all these movements. So then... So then I'm like, me and Jeff, it's like we were getting ready for a game. We were in there. All the girls, because it was just me and Jeff. So all the girls were like
the only two
stretching.
guys.
All the girls were stretching. Me and Jeff were just like getting ready. We looked like we were about to like go play baseball. And the girls, we have a special guest today joining us. And in comes Skip, Tom, all these assistant coaches. And they stand in the front, like, and they're like, serious, with the most serious face. And me and Jeff were looking at each other like, all right, let's get started. And the music goes.
You guys got an A in the class?
We passed. I don't remember what I got. I mean, the paper was good. I got a good grade on the paper.
Good story, man. We always have good stories here. I'll tell you that. That's one thing we're never gonna lack here is good stories.
Yo, I have a question for you, bro.
Me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Who do you consider
the Mambo King?
to be? No.
Oh, that was a better question.
You can ask that next.
Okay.
Who's your dance mentor?
I have many. There's no one.
You wouldn't pick one.
No, because I've done. I mean,
I think it's for him. That's a different question to ask.
It's a tough question because, and not even tough. It's just there's no one mentor because
You've been working with La Mora just as long. I mean,
she's a
at least-
huge mentor. Yeah.
At least 10 years you've been working with La Mora, right?
Yeah, she's a huge mentor. and for many reasons. And then Billy's been one. To me, Atoy too. Atoy's helped me a lot as well. It's like because it's just different sectors of the dancing.
Yeah.
But I can't pick one.
What about me? I'm not a dance man.
Oh, this is where you.
That's where you.
I thought
Okay.
it was a serious.
No,
I knew
no,
there was
no, I'm kidding. It was a serious question.
I was like,
I
where's
thought
this
it
going?
It was a serious question.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
serious question. I mean, yo, you've done a lot. It's different.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
You have one?
It depends.
Say Thomas Guerrero. I fucking hear. Say it. Come on. Go ahead. Say it.
Well,
Oh, fucking. No, look.
not if I'm gonna be threatened.
No. I'm not threatening you. I'm just saying.
Nah, Thomas was my salsa instructor. You know, he could have been more. He should have been more.
Okay.
He fell short with that. And, you know, I mean, I would have said he was my mentor. I would have said it in 2014. But I think I've learned way more now than I ever did with him. And that has to do, in my opinion, with him more than with me.
Okay, good.
And when it comes to business within the dance scene, I'll be honest with you, Louis Lopez is more of a mentor to me than
Okay, good.
than you know.
We'll take it.
And
gonna be
listen,
honest.
don't be bullying me.
I'm not
I'm
bullying
gonna
you.
say whatever I want.
Dude, you can say whatever you want. I just wanted to make sure that I understood you correctly because I
Tread
know.
lightly.
Hmm?
Tread lightly.
And you know what? That's probably a perfect segue.
Tread lightly. How? What do you mean?
No, I was saying because he said,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Thomas knowledge. Yeah, tread lightly.
Yeah. No, I can't say. I can't speak on that because I might get.
And I'm not gonna.
I might get
curse-
attacked.
I'm not gonna curse him out this episode.
No.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
Ah.
I feel like I'm growing.
Yeah.
I
I think you're growing
on me.
too. I think.
And
I
think-
see you're taking jujitsu lessons.
Listen,
I guess
listen.
you
I, no,
really don't want to get
honestly,
beat
bro.
up.
No. Honestly, I'm working on me and my anger and my communication. Then I just don't think that this
Okay.
is the space to start addressing that.
All right.
But you know, so we're talking about
It's hard. It's
segue.
hard. I mean, I get it. If you have to say one or two, because
No. I'm gonna honestly, bro. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna sit here
Good for
and
you.
curse him out. I'm not. I'm not doing
just in case one day, you know, you
No. All right, but we're gonna just transition. You know, now we're talking about Thomas.
relapse.
Let's talk about, you know, our scene has had its fair, you know, questionable, I guess, characters as of late. There's been some unfortunate news. Again, I'm gonna be honest with you. We're learning the gossip and whatever's going on, just like everybody else is. We're on social media and we're reading it. I'm sure everybody else is too. And I think it would be remiss not to at least touch on there or comment on it
Okay.
and how unfortunate it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if anything, it's extremely unfortunate. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
I don't think we support any of the nonsense or abuse or any. I don't
There's no
support
not
it.
think. There's no.
No. I know. Well, I just want to make sure to reiterate that. I think we all stand united when we say we don't agree with it. We don't condone it. It shouldn't be happening. And you know, it's unfortunate, extremely unfortunate that these things are happening to these women and in the manner that they're happening in. And you know, Jeff, one thing that you touched on when we were teaching is like getting your students comfortable. But then obviously some people are kind of taking that to an extreme and taking advantage of their students when
Well,
it's no good. You know what I'm
look,
saying?
Before I did this, I used to work residence life. So I got the job at 21. So I was assistant director of residence life, and I was in charge of judicial affairs. And when I interviewed, I remember Christine Gallagher,
Rest in peace.
She hired me, and she was pushing for me, and the president of the school didn't want to hire me. So the president of the school said, I want to have a one-on-one interview with him, which she never did in that process. So I had to sit down with Sister Mary Eileen, who's retiring this year. Actually, she's been the president of Dominican College for years. She's retiring this year. And we had a talk, and everything went great. And then at the end of the talk, she said, listen, I have concerns because you're a young man and you're going into a position of power. Everything changes. So she said, I'm going to hire you under the conditions that you go to these trainings about that. So I was like, all right. I mean, I brushed her off. I didn't really understand what she meant at the moment. But when you're working in a residence hall and you have young ladies, some are older than me, some are younger than me, but it doesn't matter. I hold power over them. There's things that get misinterpreted, right, within that dynamic. So I went to a lot of training about it, and I started understanding it more. And I think that when it comes to our scene, we confuse that power with what it really is, right? We like I heard, I saw some comments, and I saw some guys say, well, these women are throwing themselves at these men. Well, these men hold power over these women, right? Just like I hold power over the people in my studio, and just like you hold power over your students, and so do you. So making decisions that are rational and what's the word I'm looking for?
Well-intentioned?
Well-intentioned is one way, but decisions that are sound in nature, I guess. Sometimes those lines get blurred. I remember I made a comment a couple years ago about Robert, and a lot of people were really upset about me because when the Robert situation was going on, I said that as directors, we need to take more responsibility in what it is that we do.
That was a Facebook post you put up, right?
Facebook post, and I kind of got a lot of shit for it. And people were like, "Oh, you shouldn't be talking. Like, you should keep your mouth shut. Like, you shouldn't be saying that." But what they don't understand is, number one, some of the ladies on my team were really upset, and I think that what they were teaching me in the school was, well, you got to have the discipline to understand that these are fantasies that are created, and you have to be responsible with those fantasies that are created, right? Because when a young lady comes up to me and tells me like, hey, I had this and this happen to me, and I've had thoughts of hurting myself, and you talk them back and you give them some crisis intervention, they may confuse that with having feelings towards you, but it may not be that. It may just be like, hey, like you just you just helped them in the right moment.
Yeah.
And I think that this illusion of who we are as dancers, it gets created whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And I'm not telling everybody how to behave, how to what their sexual life should look like. But what I'm saying is it has to be responsible.
Yeah.
And we
and there's a way to do that.
I think so.
There's definitely a way to do that because there's a multitude of people that are expressing themselves sexually in ways that we don't know about, maybe we're not even comprehending. So it's definitely possible. And in those scenes, you don't hear about, abuse and stuff like that. And I think that's what we're talking about. I think it's one thing to entertain a student, but it's another thing to take advantage of and kind of abuse and that kind of shit. And that it makes me really uncomfortable saying it out loud. But
listen, I'm gonna say one more thing and then I'll shut up. But abuse has many different faces, right? So someone could say consensually, they can consent to having, relations with you, right?
Yep.
But what happens after that can still be abuse of power or emotionally or mentally or anything like that. Or even physically. Just because they say once doesn't mean that it's okay forever. And just because they say yes, that doesn't mean that you own them and that you can
do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
I agree with you.
And I think that that's where the lines get blurred, because people be like, well, you're claiming abuse, but you consented. Well, yeah, they consented, but the dynamic changed.
And each individual time requires a new consent, as per the law. And trust me, I know. That's what I deal with, the law. And, like, it's interesting because, like, we don't really hang out with, we're not seeing people.
Yeah, we're not.
And you, like, I mean, I don't know, Edwin. I don't have, are you, do you?
Edwin's more in the scene than us now.
But he's not like he's not a scene.
I don't
Edwin,
think you're a scene person.
When was the last time you went out to like a social by yourself? Exactly.
I don't remember.
You understand what I'm saying? Not to say that Edwin's not someone in the scene.
It's funny. I might go to LVG Sunday for the first time ever.
This week?
In a long time.
And
Maybe.
You didn't invite me.
He didn't invite me either.
I mean, I just decided. I thought about it today.
Well, invite me.
All right.
I was like, yo, you LVG is nuts. Stay home.
No, but you know what? I'm just saying. But that's like I haven't been out social that. I don't remember the last time. The last time I think we went to stepping out, like a long time.
Yeah,
Months
I remember
ago.
that. I remember that night. Yeah. I remember that night.
We went out.
Yeah, because we met up with you
Yeah.
and Julie.
Yeah.
You guys came from the Bronx.
Exactly. That's how long ago it is.
Yeah, you dropped the baby off and you guys came from the Bronx. You don't even remember that. That was a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
That was a while ago.
That was a super long time ago.
Yeah.
That was last year.
No, we had a show.
That was last year.
The team.
Yeah, that was last year.
Exactly.
But but you don't
But
go
that
out.
and before that,
Yeah.
if it wasn't, you were the one that hit me up.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah, I
wanna
was like, let's go out.
Let's go. I was like, okay. If not, then no, I don't go out socially by myself.
And like
Really.
this is kind of turned into a whole other thing because like I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never heard like the stuff that's I guess and again we're not there, we don't know. But I've never heard of like someone going into like becoming so irate over a situation or like just kind of verbalizing that someone did someone to somebody else in front of other group of people. That's all like new. I don't know if this is true or not, but per the rumors, that's kind of how things were expressed and the frustrations and like, yo, he did this, he did that. And that shit is really, really unfortunate. And it would be like if we didn't touch on it, it would be weird because at some point you have to kind of have an opinion. And again, you don't have to always give it, but at some point, everybody's gonna think something and everybody's gonna feel something in some kind of way.
I hope it's not true.
I hope it's not true, but I'm also.
It doesn't look that way, but I hope because, there's still things to be, I guess, ironed out. But I hope it's not true.
I'm a little bit more real. I guess realistic.
What does that mean?
I hope so too because I want good things to happen to everybody. Yo, man, we are like the original allies. And, many people may not even understand that conceptually. But in terms of being a supporter of, like, doing the right things on behalf of the women and making sacrifices and doing things in real times, like, yo, we were at the forefront of it. And, just for context, because many people may not know this, we suffered a huge consequence because of the fact that we were willing to stand up and say, yo, this shit doesn't rock with us. This isn't cool. We lost gigs. We've lost money. We've lost opportunities. We've lost relationship. Jeffrey and I we went to an event and we were like completely embarrassed. Me and him sitting right next to each other by the promoter of the event because of our decisions to move on and not be a part of like or
The things we're hearing now.
yeah, like yo, we were the first ones to do it. Now, did we come out and do something on Facebook or social media? Now, we didn't do that because what we felt was that particular female, it was her right to kind of tell her story and let her kind of go out there and do whatever it is that she wanted to do, and she chose not to, and that's okay. But we didn't feel it was our place to go out there and say, yo, this person did this, that, and the other thing.
We didn't cry about it.
And we didn't cry about it. We dealt with it, right? We came out better on the other end for it as well. But, like, I think that, like, because people ask, yo, you guys,
Well, I got called out the other day because someone was like, we're the leaders in this community. This is stuff is going on, and we don't hear anything from you. And they put my name in that.
And that's
And
unfortunate.
the person that put my name in that was also one of the persons that said, when we went through our issue in the past, she said, well, there's two sides to every story.
Who put you out there?
Doesn't matter.
I'll see it. Whisper my name.
No. Whisper in your ear. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
She didn't put me out there with bad intentions. And what I'm saying is, just getting back to my point, is that, look, I worked in Res Life. I said it before. There's also been, I've dealt with many situations, and I've seen both sides of it. I've had someone come up to me and say, hey, I was raped, and I've had them get caught in a lie, and I've had people come up to me and say, yeah, I was raped, like nothing happened, and if later on I found out for it to be true. The point is, the outrage doesn't tell you the emotion, because I've learned crisis looks different on every person. So, for me, I would like the facts to come out more, right? Before I really go in, because, if you're guilty in my book. I don't give a shit who you are. If it comes out that you did what you did, then as far as I'm concerned, we are done. But I think people should get the benefit of the doubt. So, she put me out there like, why aren't the leaders saying anything? And my thing is, I have said something. Maybe it hasn't been publicly, but my actions have been way more drastic than most people. Amen. I'll tell you that much. Because I knew going into it what the repercussions were going to be. And I still went through it, and, I very, very easily, I could have just disappeared from this whole thing. And luckily, it didn't go down that way. But
that was always tried. What we tried was to get us to go. But in terms of you, Edwin, because you work in a space where you're working one-on-one, and like you've been working with these women for years. Like it's very clear you have an extremely loyal base of students that have been coming to you without fault from when we were teaching in Queens to now, which is close to 10 years, right? And obviously you don't have any issues or anything like that. But in terms of like their perspective and kind of how they feel about it, what do they express to you in terms of like the things that are going on and the things that they see?
I mean, right now at the moment, I'll be honest, they haven't said much. So, and I haven't brought it up because it's mainly when listen, I go in there, I feel like it's something that if I'm gonna, usually the way it is, I work with my students. Students run a place, I go in and we start working. So I think, that's a topic that has to be done a little bit off.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much, I haven't really gotten into that because it's something that's like, hey, let's talk after 8 o'clock. We'll talk.
Well, one of your students wrote to me.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
she said to me, I just want to thank you guys for not being creepazoids.
Oh, okay. Well,
good looking out, my NI.
You know what I'm gonna say right now?
So shout out to you. You know who you are.
I think I know who it is.
All right.
I'm gonna create some enemies right now.
Okay.
You know what the unfortunate thing is? That at the end of the day, most people are afraid to say something. And the reason is because if they say something, they risk the possibility of their friend who's doing something just as bad being outed. And that's sad. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think...
So imagine like if you don't say something about somebody because you're worried about something coming out about me.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, again, man, it's a fucked up time.
That's wild.
It's a fucked up time.
Well, it's not a fucked up time. This is what it's always been.
I hear that, but you know
Right?
what?
If we listen, if we want to keep it real,
Yes.
it's always been like this.
Yes, you're correct. I think the difference now is that, yo, you have actual people that want to kind of step up to the plate and do something, do some good.
Yeah.
And, yo, you know what? Unfortunately, that good is being met with resistance because of, you know, shit like that, outside sources. People don't, I'm afraid something's going to come out with me. I got to make sure to kind of try to quell this. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of the situation that we're in. And more importantly than anything, that I will say this, all right? And this is from a professional experience, from a law enforcement experience. For those of you that feel comfortable enough, because what this boils down to is you're either going to want to tell your story or you're not, because there are people that have hit me up and said, yo, this happened to me, but I don't want to talk about it. At the end of the day, whatever it is that you want to do as an individual is okay. There's no doubt about it. But for those of you that do want to do something about it, listen, make it a point to try to seek some either counsel from some sort of lawyer or go to a police department and file a report. Because at the end of the day, as much as what happens on social media, unfortunately, that is kind of in one ear, out the other, and our attention span is very, very short. But if you want to make some real change, if you're comfortable enough, because again, what your decisions are the right ones, I would suggest going and filing a police report, for better or for worse, because at the end of the day, these matters are serious. I take them serious.
There's law enforcement experience here, so
yeah,
maybe we can help.
And we could help. And if you have a question, man, I'd love to answer it. And people have asked me before, yo, what do I do? And I said, yo, this is what I would do. Go speak to your local, police department, file a report, and then go from there. But at the end of the day, whatever the answer is okay. And I hope that we can kind of start moving forward and getting this to a point where we kind of don't have any of these stories anymore. So, good talk, gentlemen. I love it. You guys did fantastic today.
Me, man.
And I'm extremely proud of myself.
I'm proud of you, man.
I haven't,
I
went a whole 45 without cursing Thomas out.
It's a good job.
He's the biggest.
He's gonna smack you when you see
Yo, honestly.
Keep taking those jiu-jitsu classes. Hopefully you can defend yourself.
He's the worst of our scene. He is, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the Derek Jeter of disgusting men on the salsa scene. And I love Derek Jeter now. But I just know Derek Jeter is great.
It's
you know
hard.
when you
It's
grew
tough.
up hating Derek Jeter because he was a Yankee, and then at the end you were like, damn, Derek Jeter, he was the man.
I'm waiting. Go ahead. Finish.
He is
Like, how are you going to bring this? How you bringing this
Derek
around?
Jeter of disgusting men in the salsa scene. And I hope everybody, I don't care.
No. It's hard because Derek Jeter's like,
I love
the
Derek
gem.
Jeter.
I don't know.
He's gem in New
great.
York City.
He was the
Yeah,
best.
Like tying it,
He was the best. But again, it's a bad analogy, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
On that note, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Another episode of This Scene of Ours. Edwin, thanks for coming back, man.
Of course, man.
Awesome, bro. Jeff, give me some there. All right, we got some great things coming up. Again, guys, Congress season is coming up on us very, very shortly. Make sure you follow us on all our social media. It'll be placed here in the description of the story. Again, make sure you you follow, and we're going to see you at the next one. On that note, peace.
Peace. Always watch your six.
Kind of hoping it hits you in the head.